success that we have, because many like you, whether you were competing and now you're still coaching, or whether you're
competing and coaching and administrating.
Yeah, you bring in the organizational aspect, because many times those are the things that get ignored. The importance of the books, the importance of structuring. I mean,
it's a full-time job. Yeah,
I like how you put that.
And not only for you. I mean, like you and Tristan are like at it all the time. I just don't know how you do it. I mean, because I've just recently started going to the boxing gym. I didn't go in there. It was too smelly before, even though it was a part of our thing. And I really love it. I go often, and they're doing a fantastic job.
Well, I'm glad you share that. If Miss Leila wouldn't mind me sharing, I know, and I whole endorsement Susie's sentiments relative to having someone show you what to do. If it's okay, Miss Leila, if you're looking at getting active and engaged, come across to the gym. It's not smelly. It's a boxing gym. But you benefit greatly. You're talking about a family environment.
Really?
You're talking about being motivated. I mean, I went in there and now I'm actually more handsome.
Who would have thought it was even possible?
Miracles happen. It's like water to wine.
After Sherry beat me up, boxing's out for me, but I love it as a sport.
It's
to watch.
It's awesome. It is really, and I'm talking about especially the amateur part, just don your gloves and hit the bag, just doing the routines. And
I mean, on Sunday, was it a Sunday or Ash Wednesday? Oh yes, Ash Wednesday. I actually tried the kickboxing. It was quite nice because I did Taekwondo, so I'm used to, but the kicks are a lot lower, and it's really good. I said to Leila, gosh, I just wish I'd been doing this longer, because I was more doing the CrossFit and that kind of stuff, but the punching, I have my own punch bag, and I got the women in my fitness group doing that, punching and kicking, but I've taken it to another level with this. This is really fantastic.
Well, then we finished off the class with this one over here leading us in some soca dancing.
Well, we actually would. You put me on the spot, so we did ducking it, and I put a skipping rope, and they had to duck under it in limbo.
Oh dear!
I feel for you. I give her music and a chance to sing and dance. It's okay, but I been reminded over time, and this is the fun. We've got a couple of choices. We can always return or we can continue. But I know we have the news, don't we?
Yes, so that's fine. Thank you so much for having us. I believe Dion will be hosting us on Tuesday evenings as well.
Yeah. So. Thank you much, Ms. Jade.
Thank you,
Ms. Bridgman.
Thanks
very much. And of course, Ms. Sue, is always a pleasure.
Radio K-Man.
Yeah.
Our great Radio K-Man.
Our
great host.
And
Susan.
Miss Leila, hopefully I'll see you soon.
Yep, better do.
Yeah.
And we just want to encourage and thank all citizens and stakeholders who have supported gender equality to continue to do so, because it's really important that we create an environment where our boys and girls, women and men, can band together with a united voice for the betterment of equality throughout. We're not about just bashing men and promoting women. It's about equality for all.
The man's success is only enhanced by, the women as well.
You said it.
Yeah. No. Hey, I have 7 sisters. Did I tell you that earlier?
Yes, you did.
No, it's important, and I'm honoured to be a part of today's discussion. Ms. Jade, continue your studies, as Ms. Bridgman recognizes, from the bachelor's to the master's. She'll continue with her, postgraduate, and doctorate shouldn't be far along, right? There you go. And thanks very much. And of course, Ms. Jackson, from the educator to the practitioner. And
fantastic job you all are doing at boxing.
Thank you.
Amazing. All right, to our listeners, when we come back,
keep it up.
Yeah.
I'm on my way to the gym.
I know.
That's where we'll go. Let's do the court. Let's do the over there. All right, more talk today when we come back.
Radio K-Man. Radio K-Man's newsroom. Headline. These are the biggest stories right now.
Cayman Turtle Conservation and Education Center Island Wildlife Encounter announced on Thursday that it is now free of all its long-term debt, having fully paid down the final balance on what originally was the equivalent of just over 50 million CI dollars that was borrowed between 2004 and 2009, primarily to build the facility post-Hurricane Michelle. Turtle Farm CEO Mr. Tim Adams says being free of that debt means that support from this point on can be, quote, directly focused on the Island Wildlife Encounter experience. Good afternoon. I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines. In news elsewhere, the St. Kitts and Nevis Citizenship by Investment Unit released a statement last week assuring investors in its economic citizenship program that they have nothing to fear that their economic passport may be revoked at any time in the near or medium term and that the program is sound and operating well above board. The SKN government through the CIU appears to be responding to reports made in Caribbean News Now and Gulf News in the United Arab Emirates about the integrity of the program and how it has been subjected to fraudulent schemes that have not been adequately resolved. And tens of thousands of people are marching in the Algerian capital in the latest protest against President Abdelaziz Bouteflika. The demonstrations, now in their third week, were triggered by the ailing president's decision to seek re-election for a fifth term in April. Mr. Bouteflika has ruled Algeria for 20 years, but has rarely been seen in public since he had his stroke in 2013. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands. What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
The Department of Environmental Health is committed to picking up your garbage. To avoid delays, please place all of your household garbage in large bags. Do not overfill garbage bags or place loose trash in containers. These risk lengthy stops, which in turn lead to greater delays. Inform your neighbors too. Their poorly packed garbage will delay your pickup as well. Bag it and bin it. We will collect it. Do your part. We will do ours. Brought to you by the Department of Environmental Health.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. Thanks so much for joining us as we have some open line now for the remainder of our program. I think it's Friday. My week has been like yours, 5 days like yours. You probably had a Wednesday that turned out to be Ash Wednesday, and you probably didn't have to be formal and official at work, but you probably still there anyway. But somehow it may have said to you, well, is today Friday? Well, Miss Susan reminded me today is Friday. Doesn't mean that we don't have to work tomorrow, but nonetheless, it is Friday. So, guess what? Let's close it out formally with some open line. 949-8037. 949-6990. Of course, you can send us your thoughts on our WhatsApp, or you can call toll free at 1-800-534-8255. It's part of Honoring Women's Month. Some activity this evening that we'll tell you about walking our shoes, but let's go to our phones first. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Good afternoon to you, Sterling.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you today?
It's open.
Yes, sir.
Is it?
It is, sir.
Yes, wonderful to hear those ladies on a while ago.
Thank you.
Ladies are getting involved in sports and the gym. Now, and she's right what that lady was saying, that girls are more successful on the average by far. You only have to look outside of a bar or anywhere like that, a club, and you see a whole group of young men loitering, whereas you might find one girl or odd girl or none at all. So it shows that their minds are more focused, definitely.
Definitely.
Yes. It has been like that now for a long time, for many years. We know that the total, complete change, society in the last 45 years that many are still coming to grips with. And especially when we talk about what Cayman used to be, and many of the oldsters like myself would often reminisce and talk about this, how it was then, and this was, and we're not bearing in mind that we have quadrupled our population in the last 45 years. No other country around us has even come close to that. And generational Caymanians are a minority in the country now. Again, no other country around us is anywhere like that at all. So we have a very unique situation here as we go forward. This morning on the For the Record show, Mr. O.C., and there was two MLAs, Mr. Arden McLean from Eastern, a seasoned veteran, and Mr.
Saunders.
Chris Saunders, very smart and astute young man, and they know a lot about the system and different aspects of it, and experts in the fields of accounting and then marine engineering and so forth with Mr. Arden, and engineering in general, which is very important. One of the things that I think has caused some serious problems with our people and the expectations of our people and their disappointments sometimes, or their blaming and belaboring and criticizing and outright labeling some of our elected officials as corrupt or whatever, is that our MLAs, and I've said it for many, many years now, from Mr. Jim Barton's days, and if you remember his manifesto many times, what he used to say, I'm not going to quote that now, but we all know that Mr. Jim was for taking Cayman away from the British country. Anyone who knew Mr. Jim Barton, or even goes back in history and studies his philosophy and his manifestos, will know that was his objective, and that was his main discussion on all his campaign meetings. He did run on that manifesto, which if anyone ran with a manifesto like that now, they get about 5 votes. When he said, I want to move Cayman as far away from the British as I can. Think about anybody saying something like that on manifesto. No, they get maybe 5 votes, 10 votes, maybe. I don't know. Yes, sir.
Sorry. Thank you for. But the Honourable Premier has shared, and I hope I am not trying to quote him, but I don't speaking. He said that in relation, if the UK's view was to allow individuals who are not citizens of the country to stand for election and vote, that he would be the first to lead the charge for independence. So maybe that mindset has changed amongst not just the electorate, but amongst the politicians as well.
Understand what I'm trying to say? That he did not say my intent is to take Cayman away. In his mind, nobody said that.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying now? So there's a great difference at 40 years ago and now, and in the mindset, as I said, of Mr. Jim Barton, and there were a couple of others. And you remember the great Ormond Banton running the other governors. Nobody now has had those running like that. And Mr. Jim also a serious running person, I know of them. Anyhow, what I'm saying is this: one of our men, and you wouldn't expect Mr. Allen, Premier, to say something like that on a manifesto now. I'm just trying to show you the difference in the outlook. What they have failed over the years, and I'm sorry that I couldn't get on to say this to them. And I've said it over and over on several radio shows, Radio Talk, Call Into Talk, several times, your show, and that when our elected representatives are holding meetings, political meetings, they should always state the fact that, remember, we are a British Crown colony, and we can call it a territory. It's just semantics. And we cannot do certain things that you would expect of us because it's governed by Her Majesty's wishes through the British governor here, answering to the Foreign Office, to the Minister for the Overseas Territories, and up the line and whatever. Mm-hmm. So, this should be, I emphasize that all the while, that our people would understand, because I'm saying this now without any fear of, without any hesitation whatsoever, that it's apparent that many of our people do not understand what we really are. That the system, whereas we are a crown colony, and we are not in control. Our elected representatives are not in control. In an independent country, it takes quite a while to become independent. You have to plan for it. There are many things to be done. You have to understand the elected representatives in an independent country, they're called a parliament, and are the ultimate power. The ultimate power. There's no governor there. There's a governor general in the former British colonies, but they're chosen by the Prime Minister. And it's usually a loyal person to party and to the country who is acceptable to both parties. It's usually two parties in most countries that are predominant. You have a few independents and a few other third parties, but they never really amount to much. And they vary and join and so forth. That it's completely different. There's a minister in charge of justice. There's a minister in charge of who would have definite oversight in the courts. They choose their own police force. They can hire and fire the police chief. And this is the thing. They handle their own security. They make their own decisions financially, and it is theirs, and the Prime Minister appoints his government and his cabinet. And therefore, if you're saying to lead a charge into independence, you have to prepare the people for it. Number one, you have to write a new constitution, completely different constitution, because what we have is completely unacceptable in an independent country. It's not the same. It wouldn't work. Then you have to hold general elections. If the decision has been made, whether it's by referendum or just by all the 19 members, yes, that's what we want to lead the country into. I don't know what they find acceptable. They may go to the people at a referendum and say, after they have talked about it, you can write the constitution. You still hold it. Like Bermuda did something similar to that. Their constitution is way advanced. It's a step towards independence almost. And you would then present to the people, well, we have decided to go independent. Now we'll hold general elections to elect a government that would be suitable to that new constitution and to this new nation, because you become a nation. And then they would govern the people in a totally different way. So people would have to understand things will be far different. Now, we don't have any real natural resources here. We don't have any mining. We don't have any manufacturing and export of great quantities. We have a few thousand rum cakes we export, a few which is God bless, and that's good to them. A few thousand cases of rum and several thousand cases of beer, and the odd piece of craft we make, which we should be doing more and encouraging it more from the Scotch and so forth. But our dependency is strictly on foreign money coming through here, coming to us, for us to handle it and do certain things with it. And as we all know, and then on tourism, which all the islands are dependent on, whether they're in the Caribbean and in other places, and that's a great asset and that's a great resource, right, and so forth. But we have to think carefully of how we manage it. And another thing is this: as I started out saying, and I'm going to finish now and end up this, and I listen on, that we have to understand generational Caymanians are a minority. So when we say independent for whom and for what, purpose and so forth, and what would the Caymanians benefit from. So we'd have to really take a good long look at that and plan for it. It would take, I'm quite certain, a few years. In this modern day and age with the technology at the fingertips and so forth and blah, blah, blah. And the one ingredient that is lacking in our people, which is the main thing, is courage. And the second ingredient is unity. We are very fractured and a very ununited people. Very, very. And we are very uncourageous people. We have become that. And so that is one of the two key things that are worrisome to me. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. I listen on.
All right. Thank you very much indeed. And with that, let's just pause quickly, take a short break. When we come back, more Talk Today.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
At Flow, we know that 4 are better than 1. Introducing Flow Quad Play. Packed with the fastest, most reliable broadband, the power and control of Flow Evo TV, Cayman's best mobile experience, and tons of home phone minutes, all in one convenient package from only $199 a month. With 4 plans to choose from, you're sure to find one that fits your needs. It's value, ease, and convenience all on one bill with Cayman's #1 network. Find out why 4 are better than 1 with Flow Quad Play at discoverflow.ky. Terms and conditions apply.
Check out Fashion Mart's Hot Spring Sale. Apparel for all. Up to 50% off women's, men's, and babies' clothing. Work or casual wear, and from babies through teens. Hair products and accessories too. Located on Printers Way in the old Little Darlings location. Fashion Mart's Spring Sale through March 16th.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. It is open line, and we have a caller. Thank you so much for joining us. Good afternoon, and welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Hello.
Hi, good afternoon, my friend. How are you?
Yes, I'm good, man.
All right.
Because coverage, Nathan, vision, and how, Sterling. Cayman is based on a service economy now. The revenue go back to the treasury.
Right.
You know? Immigrants, the friends and all. And how, Sterling.
Right.
This one there, right? The whole political arena, right? Autonomy, or how you, the sister, right? You know? The sister away, I have her hand. Listen.
Right.
The previous caller, I know personally, he makes a lot of sense, logical sense. That's a natural archive, you know? And culture, right? This is Mickey Harrison, good man. I know him.
Yeah.
You know, but listen, Sterling, the whole proliferation, right? Like you say again, he always, you know, reminiscing good days and good times, right? There were good times, but listen, the world spinning axis, right? She spinning, yeah? The Greenwich Meridian, right? Different time zones. Hello. Just lay properly, right? In Sterling, FS Rough.
Right.
I do watch the subject, but listen. You see the one thing there? That's the capital adequate, right? To conduct any liquidation or debt, right? Seriously. The marijuana market, right? Look at the US now, in Canada. We see the falling in favor of it, stay in church. But listen now, Sterling, in the peninsula coming around the heartbeat now, sober shoulder. And I hope we join the Geneva Convention, join our force, you know, 10 years from now, or Jubilee, 25 years, that generation gap.
Yeah.
You know, but that's what I tell you. But the previous caller, he make a lot of sense and logics.
Right.
This in the month, you know, but different time zone, you know.
Yeah. Now, looking at the whole issue of legalizing or decriminalizing, do you think we should? Well, which one do you think we should do? Should we make it, open to everybody so that it's free to possess, like you would if you were a certain age and under, certain sort of conditions, or should it be that if you have a possession of it, it's no big deal as long as enough for supply? How should we approach it?
But Sterling, you see the age bracket, right? That category, right?
Mm-hmm.
That segment, they have been reluctant towards it now. But you see, people been through it. Entrepreneurs, many years, different music musicians, different people all over the world. So you can't accept for that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I know you want president on carpet, image the product, you know. But for instance, though, you got to draw age limit,
right?
Make it mandatory, right? You know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's to be nice, you know. Because what is system now, system, you know. People need jobs and. To rehabilitation, we carry on, right? You know. But I would say they say but I would say however, don't focus on here,
right?
You know, and listen, and smoking, no more than smoking a long time. I was like arrogant, you know,
right?
Get my voice, arrogant, you know, and now, yeah. So like I said, the age change, Sterling. I know we can reach this out and start in time frame, but the age limit. They have some statistics going on with school people.
Mm-hmm.
That not new. But what is that story about it? This suicidal thing.
Yeah.
She was extreme. But
yeah. What age would you put for smoking cigarettes? To start with that first, tobacco products. Do you think it should be 18 or 21, as we've seen an initiative in certain parts of the world, causing tobacco 21? They're talking about. Should we increase the age to legally smoke tobacco products to 21?
Sterling, I would say at least in Cayman. Boy, I can have nothing around. That's about 18 months.
Okay.
The reason why, Sterling, you're 7 years old, you can do your written test.
Right. Okay.
Your provisions.
I hear you.
Yeah, you know, but tobacco has rust now.
Yeah.
Heart-related diseases.
Yeah. What about drinking of alcohol? We know the age limit here is 18. Do you think that's a good limit? Should we raise that to 21, 25? Just your opinion, if you don't mind sharing. What are your thoughts?
I say 21.
21 for drinking?
Yeah, believe me.
Mm-hmm.
People, I know people in Cayman Islands, right? Despite they come from, you do one beer or a spirit, the eyes are dilated. Voice change. Yeah. So you don't pay her.
All right, and just to repeat, if we were to look at legalizing the possession for
cannabis,
yeah,
it's economy. Hold on. Economy.
Right.
In recreation, money making.
Money, yeah.
Money, your funds. Yeah, you know, you job in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Federal debt paid off right away, left, right, and that. But people free to talk about it. So when I hear Mr. Allen, Mr. Allen person, Mr. Allen say about the scholarship, in $1.5 billion in 68 years, pay off to combat recession. But I feel marijuana, not him now. I don't know about that, but the boss about it.
But right. But in the Cayman economy, is probably we're not appreciating the specific dynamics, because on one hand, and this is just me not so much giving you an analysis, just repeating what some have shared. Some have questioned, how can we talk about unemployment in Cayman when we have so many people who either are on work permit or are subject to work permit? There has to be some other fundamental issue at play. And then when we look at underemployment, some have questioned, as the Chamber of Commerce has asked, why should the focus be on the whole issue of underemployment for those on a work permit, as opposed to focusing more on the issue of underemployment for those who are Caymanian, if there is an underemployment issue as well.
Yeah, listen, Sterling, I understand things. I understand. I'm obligation, right? I worked 3 days, 2 weeks ago that way, right? My body got me by that fella, you know. Unfortunately, Sterling, the whole you have to differentiate everything.
Right.
Put everything in category, right? Your fraction, right? The numerator on top, right? Or below, differentiate.
Yeah.
The denominator.
Right.
So that all that statistics,
yeah.
Right. So what happened now? Came back, like I said, first I call you. Came back based on service economy.
True.
That's what you now they're based on immigrants. You fly in, fly out. Hello. So listen, like I said again, the one only guys are what on here. Who want gambling? You know. Listen. And the make. Sorry, if you come from?
Yeah, man. So you feel in the end those things are going to come to pass, whether it's next 10 years, but they eventually will come.
So then, whoever overqualified or seeking work or looking for work, you gotta draw a line, right? Consignment, draw a line in. Listen, that's what we need definitely, because what happens, Sterling.
Right.
You see the jack that prevails, the powerful segment. You have to look. The player in the jack that prevails.
And
as and the real truth, I'm not looking for in the peninsula, but let's prepare for it. We can prepare for hurricane the 1st of June, the last November, but differently prepare for it. But with the employment now, you draw a line.
Yeah.
The days come first, right? Priority. You know, you can't manage it. But recall in the country now. Hello.
I hear you, man. I hear you. I think as you shared. Any final thoughts as you close out?
Boy, and I say about over the weekend.
You too, man. You too. Talk to you on Monday, God's willing. All right. And the caller, I tell you what, man. He is, as he shares, he reads, he understands, and he's willing to relay. So thank you so much for joining us today as we go about this month of March, honoring the women in our lives, the women who've sort of blazed the trails beforehand to help us to be where we are and enjoy it. Let's celebrate. Let's do so respectfully. This evening, as part of the activities of the Crisis Center, take a walk in our shoes, get down 5 o'clock, come on away, and recognize that our women are, not just equal but invaluable contributors to our society. Invite you to have a very productive, engaged, and rewarding weekend. Please be safe as you go and move about our communities. Understand that your actions have consequences, sometimes unintended. So if you can, think before you act, and if you recognize that what you do can influence others, let it be a positive influence. Let it be productive. And recognize that your position sometimes is not so much about the power that you wield, but the restraint that you exercise. Until Monday, be blessed.